Hi there, this is Linda and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm putting together my Project Life spread for the week of December 18th through December 25th, 2023, and I'm working with supplies from my December daily stash. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, you guys, this is the second to last week in 2023, and I'm ready to just be done with this project and move on fully to my 2024 album, get this one completed and put on the shelf. Unfortunately, I've been procrastinating on this one because I had planned to use my December daily stash, and at the time that I finished my December daily album last year, I was so ready to be done with December daily supplies. I was super excited to get it just put away and be done with that project that I totally kind of forgot that I was planning on using those supplies in this layout, and I put everything away. So I have been hesitant to pull my December daily products back out, but I think I'm going to for this spread because I have a lot in there and I do want to use it. So what I'm going to do is I laid everything out, and I'm gonna go over to my December daily bin and pull some stuff out to fit in these pockets. I see I need 2 4x6 pockets, and I need 6 3x4s, probably some embellishments. This was the week of Christmas, so technically Christmas Eve was the Sunday and Christmas morning was the Monday, but I just moved Christmas into this week, so this is an 8-day week because I didn't want to break Christmas Eve and Christmas morning from the same spread since they do have a lot. I do a lot of my Christmas celebration on Christmas Eve, so this is my Christmas Eve dinner. And besides Christmas, and then I have this one photo from Christmas morning of the tree with the gifts under it, I didn't really have that much photo stuff to document this week. I was getting to the end of December daily. I was kind of burned out on that project, burned out on Christmas. I always kind of feel that way where I love the Christmas season, and then when I get to December, like to Christmas itself, I'm ready for Christmas to be done. And I actually put my tree and everything away like super early this year. I want to say like December 28th or something. We'll see that in the next week. But now I'm going to go over to my stash and see what I have to fill in here. Okay, so I went over to my stash and I opened the box. I have a not huge, but I have a plastic bin that has all my December daily supplies in them. And a lot of them are stored in this different storage boxes from the kits over the years. And this one has all of my 3x4 and 4x6 cards. So I definitely wanted that one. I have this stack, which were just like scraps that I had left over from last year. And so I obviously want to use some of those. And then I pulled this one over, which are like pad embellishments. So word phrase strips. There's some 4x6 papers and a few other kind of embellishments in here. This is just a very small portion of my December's daily stash, but a lot of the products for December daily are like larger or big shapes and stuff. And while some of those would be fun to use in December daily, it's okay for me not to bring them out for it because I think they are better for albums. So I'm just going to go ahead and work with what I have here. I'm going through these things, the stash stuff or the scraps first. And I think I want to use some of these just to kind of the vellum pieces to create some cards. I'm going to obviously add some journaling. I'm going to add a title card. I'm just going to kind of go through this and see what I have. So I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on fast forward while I put this one together. Okay, you guys, the first thing I'm doing is really going through everything and picking out what I want to include in all of my empty pockets and trimming stuff down. I knew I wanted to use that scrap of the Gather Transparency or vellum, and I also have this other vellum here that says So Much Joy, and I wanted to use those in my spread, so I'm happy I trimmed those down, and then I'm going through my cards and picking out other pieces. There's so many cards that I have in my December daily stash. It was hard to narrow it down. You can see I'm struggling between those two cards, but I ultimately picked that craft one. And I think it might be a little hard to see on camera, but it has these gold lines on it that are kind of like wonky lines to write on. And I have so much fun writing on it later. You'll see that coming up. But first I'm picking all of my cards. Now I'm going through and picking my 3x4 cards and really trying to find ones where the colors kind of coordinate with each other, because I do have cards in my stash from many different collections from Allie Edwards and other brands and from various years. So they don't all coordinate with each other. And I'm going with a few, not actually from this year's, from 2023's collection, but I end up picking some that I believe were from 2022's collection instead, and going more with that color scheme plus the craft and gold. In the beginning of this video, I did talk about how I didn't really want to dive back into December daily supplies now that it's March and I've put them away, and it feels so good to put them away, but I'm so thrilled that I brought them back out for this spread because I was able to put a little bit of a dent in my December daily stash, and I had a lot of fun with it. And you guys, I really, really love how the spread comes together. I hope that you guys are enjoying it as well when you see the final spread. So I'm also picking some cards here that I want to use as embellishments. You guys know I love to cut up my cards, and December daily cards are no different from any other ones, where I want to try to use a bit more of them in my spread by cutting them up. I'm cropping down some white cardstock to back the 2 vellum pieces that I've selected, simply because I'm not going to have them transparent in this album because there's other stuff on the other spreads. And then I cropped down that card that was from, I believe this was from the 2023 collection in Liz Tamanaha's mini kit. It's a little checklist that says yes to this. And I just put that there with on that other card that was also from her kit. I cropped it down to just make it a little more interesting than having it just sitting by itself. I don't end up actually checking anything off on there because I really want all of those things. It's just kind of a decorative element. I'm moving on with cropping down and punching out all of the other cards that I'm going to cut up. This one with the 3 Santa heads, I believe, was from the 2022 collection, and I decided to punch them out with my 1-inch circle punch and use them as embellishments on the spread, simply because they're so cute, and I don't know why I never used them before, and I really just wanted to get them used in a project because they're adorable rather than leaving them in my stash. For my title card, I decided to use this 4x6 card, even though it wasn't the top left corner, because I really wanted to use this gather paper, but it's kind of a lot for a filler just on its own without being my title card. So I added a label sticker on there and one of the little Santas and my rolling date stamps. My adhesive kind of showed through the vellum. That's what you could see me doing there. I still haven't found a great adhesive for vellum. I know some people left me some suggestions last time I asked. I just haven't had a chance to order any of them, but I will keep you guys updated if I find one that I love. Moving on to this photo of my Christmas Eve food. So one of my family's traditions is to do hors d'oeuvres for Christmas Eve. So I took this photo of all of the food that I made, and it was one of my favorites from this year, probably my favorite photo from the actual Christmas festivities, because I'm not someone who takes a ton of photos on actual Christmas and Christmas Eve because I'm more living in the moment. But I do always want to capture a photo of all the food I made, and I really love how this one came out. I decided to add the word Christmas Eve on there with some stickers from my stash and one of the little Santa heads, and I do come back and add another embellishment on there as well and call that one good. This journaling card here, I decided to use to add the details of Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I used my white Posca pen to write out Christmas Eve, and then I'm just using my regular pen to write in the details. These lines on this card are pretty large. They're wonky and large, which is what I followed with that large Christmas Eve words, but I had more I wanted to say, and I didn't want to write that big for all of my journaling, so I decided to do 2 lines per line, if that makes sense. Each of the lines on the card I split in half to do 2 rows of text, except for where I did the titles. I finished the Christmas Eve journaling after 3 rows on the card, so I could do the Christmas Day for the last 3 rows. And I added those little Starburst chipboard pieces from the 2023 collection after the title before my journaling, just to kind of break it up. I do add some of those other Starbursts elsewhere on my spread to tie it together. You'll see me do that soon. Next, I'm moving on to that filler card right there. I just added one of those trees, and then I'm done with that left-hand side, and I'm going to move on to the right, or mostly done with the left. I am trying to decide how I want to embellish all of these pieces here. I want to add some embellishments on some of my photos and my filler cards. I'm using some of the puffy stickers and just some of the other elements from my stash. Part of my goal here is to use up more of my supplies, but also just to have fun and play with the embellishments. So I do end up adding some embellishment clusters using puffy stickers. I bring some word phrase strips out and add some of those. And I'm using that last Santa punch out on that photo of my cookies in the bottom right-hand corner. On that photo there of pumpkin on the left, I had trimmed down one of the vellum cards that says loving this season of all things merry and bright to create a vertical strip to add on top of the photo. And it just kind of covered up some of the clutter. It wasn't really cluttery, but it was on my table next to him, which wasn't really the purpose of the photo. So I liked having that on there. On this remembering card, I'm adding my bullet points from the week. I love to do this on almost all of my Project Life spreads where I just include some various details of the week, little micro stories on a bullet point list. And it's a way to really kind of recap the week in one little card, as opposed to having longer journaling for all of these things. A lot of these stories are not worth longer journaling. Well, not that they're not worth, but I don't have more to say, but I do still want to document them, even though they don't have a photo or more words to go with them. This week, of course, was really focused on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, but other stuff happened because that was the last Sunday and Monday in this 8-week spread, as I said at the beginning. So this card is really recapping everything else that happened this week. A lot of it was Christmas related, like I had my holiday party at work, which I didn't take any photos in, so it's just a note on here. But also, wrapping presents, crafting, just all of the things that were going on this time. We went to the movies, I finished a puzzle, just random little stories of the week. I'm adding the word phrase strips. As usual on my spread, I like to repeat the same embellishment type across the spread. So you can see I'm stacking these red and white word phrase strips on various photos. I have one up on that photo of pumpkin up in the top left corner of the right page. I have two of them over on the photo of pumpkin licking himself all funny in the bottom left corner of the left page. And then I put them on a couple of the other photos there just to kind of tie the spread together. So if you're using a lot of supplies like this, like from December Daily or whatever you're working from, and there's a lot of different options, I highly suggest picking one or two elements that you repeat across multiple cards just to tie the spread together. I really, really loved this opportunity to dive back into my December daily supplies, and I love how this spread came out. I hope that this inspires you to pull out your December daily supplies and use them to finish up your album or your project life for 2023. Here's a look at that completed spread. As always, thank you guys so much for being here. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye.